The only thing worse than breaking up is feeling like your ex doesn't even miss you. You'd probably do anything to make them realize the mistake they made. But if you're thinking about blocking your ex, then you need to know that this won't help you get them back. In fact, it'll actually hurt your chances of getting them back for a couple of reasons. So let me tell you what to do instead that's sure to get your ex's attention and give you the very best possible shot at a second chance. And I'll also tell you what you need to do if you've already blocked your ex, because you do need to handle this delicately if you want to prevent any further damage. I, of course, am Brad Browning, author of the best-selling X Factor program and YouTube's most trusted breakup coach since 2010. I've seen many of my clients and fans go through major conflict with their exes after a breakup. And I've also seen the lengths that people will go to try to show their exes that they're making the wrong choice. And this is how I know that blocking your ex rarely works. So let's talk about why it's going to be the wrong choice. So first off, ask yourself why you want to block your ex. Like, what are you hoping to get out of it? I'm guessing you want a few things. You probably want to show them that you're over them. You want them to think that you're actually so over them that you have no reason to ever talk to them again. You also want to imagine that your ex is desperate to send you a message. And when the lines of communication are open, you have to face the fact that they're choosing not to reach out to you. Or worse, maybe it's not a choice. Maybe they're not even thinking about you at all. But if you block them, then you can say, oh, they wish they could message me right now, but they can't. So they're probably going crazy. And also, let's be honest, you might also be blocking them because you want to mess with them. You want them to open their phone and check your Instagram like they've done 100 times before, only to see that they can't because they're blocked. You want them to send you a text and have it come back undelivered. Maybe you want to hurt their feelings because they hurt yours. And probably you're also hoping that if you block them, then you won't be tempted to talk to them again and embarrass yourself. So maybe you won't call them in the middle of the night crying and tell them you need them in your life. But now, let's think about this for a second. Unless your ex is totally over you, in which case really none of this matters, then when they see they're blocked, they're going to ask themselves, why? And they're going to come up with those exact same reasons that we just talked about. They'll say, well, they probably want me to think that they're over me, which is going to tell them that you're not over them at all, because no one tries stuff like this if they're truly moving on. Basically, if you block your ex, you're only going to give them the idea that you're still thinking about them all the time, which is going to make them think less of you. It's going to make them less attracted to you. Think of it like this. Now that you've broken up, you're essentially competing with everyone else out there who they could date. And someone who is totally obsessed, while flattering, is never going to be more attractive than somebody who's playing it cool. And on top of that, they'll also think, why are they trying to hurt my feelings? They must be really mad, so I should probably stay away from them. I don't want any drama. So if you really want your ex to miss you, then you want them to think that you're actually moving on. And if you are really moving on, you're not going to be obsessed with them. Plus, they'll think that, you're playing mind games, because really you are. And this is another thing that's really only going to push them further away. And this is really why blocking your ex doesn't work. The only possible benefit would be that it could stop you from contacting them, but if you get really desperate, it's only going to take a couple of seconds to unblock them anyways. So, if blocking your ex doesn't work, then what should you do instead? Well, first off, your instinct is right. If you want your ex back, if you want them to regret ever breaking up with you and beg you for another chance, then you really do want them to think that you're moving on. So let's think about that for a second. If blocking them doesn't work, then how do you actually give them the impression that you are moving on? Well, let's imagine what you would do, if you were really totally over them. You wouldn't block them. You wouldn't see any reason to. You wouldn't even really be thinking about them. But you would probably stop talking to them. Think about all the people from your past who you're no longer hung up on. Or better yet, think about someone you're not interested in at all. Now that's how you need to treat your ex. Like you're not interested. Like you're over it. So for starters, you want to give them lots of space. Don't engage in conversation. Don't call them up to check in. Don't text. Basically, you want to disengage completely. If you happen to see them in public, you don't need to give them the silent treatment or anything, because that's just going to make you seem angry. And anger is a sign of investment, which is a sign that you're not moving on. So be polite, but not too friendly, and then disengage from the conversation as quickly as you're able to. And then next, act as if the relationship is in your past and you're picking up the pieces and moving on. So if you're dragging your feet at all, holding off on giving them back their stuff, constantly trying to get them to talk about the breakup, then stop. Because remember, you're over it, and if you're over it, you just want to move on. And this means you're going to want to put your focus on something other than the breakup in the relationship. So start rebuilding your life that was probably disrupted by the breakup. Reconnect with friends and family, focus on work or school or hobbies, get some exercise. And from there, it's really just onwards and upwards. Start setting goals and achieving them. Really show your ex that you can survive and thrive without them in your life. But again, for the most part, you want to maintain radio silence. If you start bragging to your ex about how happy you are, they're going to realize that you're really just doing this all for their benefit. Subtlety is really key here. Now, these steps are going to set up your ex to miss you like nothing else you could possibly do. Because remember, you need to be absent if you want your ex to miss you. If you keep hanging around and bugging them, they won't have any chance to actually miss you because you'll be right there in front of them. And as cliche as it might sound, absence really does make the heart grow fonder. Time apart is going to help your ex see all the things that you brought into their life that they're now missing out on. It's going to give them a chance for all the bad memories and any drama to fade. And after a few weeks or a month, they're going to start to wonder why they let you go in the first place. Those lingering doubts and second thoughts are going to start to creep in. This is the game plan that I recommend in 99% of scenarios like this. If you want your ex back, space is key to making that happen. But if your situation happens to be a little more complicated than that, or if you've tried everything already and nothing seems to work, then I would love to offer you some additional help. Just go to breakupbrad.com/coaching after this video is over to sign up for my very affordable one-on-one coaching program. When you sign up, I work with you directly to sort out any issues that you're having with your ex and help you find a resolution so that you can have them back in your life for good. Again, go to breakupbrad.com/coaching to find out more. All right, now on to the big question. What if you didn't see this video in time and you've already blocked your ex? Have you ruined your chances of getting them back? Did you just move on? Well, first off, relax. Just blocking your ex alone is rarely enough to totally tank your chances. Yes, generally it does work against your goals, but it's not a total disaster, so don't sweat it. Now here's how you can salvage it. All you have to do is wait a couple of days, maybe to a week, and then unblock them. And the reason you want to wait a bit is because if you block and then unblock them in the span of an hour, you're going to look like you're out of control and spiraling. And if you are spiraling, you certainly don't want your ex to know it. And the truth is that blocking and then unblocking is slightly embarrassing, but it's certainly the better option. Really, your only other choice would be to commit to it and keep them blocked for good, which is obviously going to present some real problems when you want to reconnect with them. No one wants to go out with somebody who has them blocked. Obviously, it sends a weird message. And second, you really don't want to make a big deal out of it. So don't apologize for blocking them or message them to tell them that it must be a glitch or that your cat walked across your keyboard. No one is buying that, so just own it. Your ex is going to understand that you were probably overthinking things, and I'm sure they're going through similar stuff right now as well. And if they ask about it, just explain that you were just upset, but you realized it was a mistake. No need to elaborate much more than that. The important thing is to put this blocking in the past and just continue with the plan. Because after a few weeks, this is not going to be something that stands out in their mind, trust me. Now, if you're stuck and wondering what to do next, you should head over to breakupbrad.com and watch my full free video there, because it contains all of my best tips for winning your ex back starting today. And it's important that you watch it now rather than later, because this is advice that you need to act on as soon as possible if you want the best chance of getting your ex back. Again, you can watch that full video for free at breakupbrad.com. And that is pretty much it for this one. Thank you for watching, and I wish you the very best of luck in getting your ex back. It's not going to be easy, but nothing worth doing ever really is. And at this point, I'm hoping you'll click like and subscribe if this video was at all helpful. I'd really appreciate it. Either way, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time right here. Bye for now.